The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, everyone, I'd like to welcome you back to another KevCam night class tonight. And tonight we actually have something pretty cool that it's given me goosebumps about, and I wanted to share with you guys on. And we'll be covering programming tonight, but not in the sense of SolidCAM so much programming, but on the side of computers and what computers to get. And this comes up quite often with you guys, that you want to know what's the best computer, what's going to make what's the best bang for my buck, and all that stuff. And we actually have our friends here from BOXX Technology, got Brad with us, and he is the technical marketing manager. And we also have Aaron that will be with us real shortly, hopefully, is our sales engineer. So Brad, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
Good to be with you, Kevin.
All right. So what I want to do with you guys tonight is, like I said, it's going to be a little bit off the cuff, not so much focused on the CAM side of things, but more on the computer spec side of things. And let me hop out of our introductory picture here and just want to make sure, can everybody, or maybe somebody, Carlos, I know you're and you're off, and can you tell me if you're able to see the screen? And hopefully they're able to see it. Or anybody can see it.
Well, I can see it, but
well, it works for you and I. Oh, yep. All right, perfect. Thanks, Victor. All right. So right now, you know, when our average computers, when we go out and buy our computers nowadays, I'm going to give you guys just from a personal experience. Here at SolidCAM, we've been getting Dells from the US, and we're having to get new computers about every year and a half to 2 years. And then we get the calls from our customers, you guys, asking what's a good computer? What's something that I don't have to worry about? That's something that's going to be bulletproof for you guys. So come across BOXX Technology. And Brad, how long has BOXX been around?
BOXX has been around over 24 years, so it's been quite a long time, since the 1990s.
Awesome. So what I want to do for you guys is I'm going to show you a calculation here, and those of you that would like to test out your part, I will gladly send this to you. So anybody that is watching this live, send me your email address in the questions, or if you guys are watching this on YouTube, send them over to me at kevin.rankel@solidcam, which the link will be down below in the description. But what I want to get to here is this part right here. I was running a Dell 5570, 5510, the 7550 laptops, and we were getting an average calculation time on this part about 12 to 12 and a half minutes of calculation time. So what I want to do for you guys here is just kind of show you what we have set up right now. In our settings here, if I go to our updated stock calculation, this is where the real crunching happens, is like, especially when we come into our solid verify. So right now we're running a 2/10 tolerance on our solid verification up here. So, and if we just kind of step through our program, we're just doing a 3D eye machining, another 3D eye machining to do rest material here, HSM toolpath. But as we get going further in here, this really clamps down on your average system. So let's take a look and do a simulate real quick. Actually, we're going to do a calculate and synchronize. So we'll come here, we'll do a synchronize and calculate all. Yep. And this is basically going through and rebuilding the entire structure of this part, as well as our toolpath that's going on here. So right now, if we go ahead and look at our task manager, we have a lot of cores here. So I am also running this BOXX computer right now. And Brad, how many cores are we actually running on the system?
There's up to 24 cores on it. However, some of them are E cores and some of them are P cores. So.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And did we get Aaron in yet? No, I don't see him in yet. Okay, so what you guys can see right now is we are doing a full-on calculation. So if I just minimize this real quick, you can see we're still calculating right here, utilizing all of the cores of this BOXX computer here. So we can see every single one of our cores is being used in one way or another. So this really helps out those calculation times. So we're going right now. Shoot, I forgot to start the clock. But I've done some testing on this part file, and we're going to be at this part at about 2 minutes and 12 seconds. So let's just kind of recap of what I just said there. We went from a 12-minute calculation time, well, let's say 13-minute calculation time, down to a 2-minute calculation time. This is huge. So, Brad, can you tell us what the computer that I have sitting underneath my desk looks like every other computer that I can go by? What really makes BOXX Technologies really pop?
Well, we always use the latest and greatest hardware, and you know, the companies that supply us, such as Intel, they grow by leaps and bounds every time they go for another generation. You know, just 1 gigahertz can result in a 25% performance improvement on average on SolidWorks and their ergo SolidCAM. So because you're using the absolute latest and greatest, you're going to get a performance improvement. Further to that, I can get into it later, as we use performance tuning, which means a liquid cooling solution, and it's closed loop, so you don't have to worry about leaks or any other problems in there. And so we actually run this at 6 gigahertz, even though the top of what Intel offers is 5.8.
Excellent. So for those of you guys that are in live right now, do you guys want to see more of the inner workings of the computer and how they're able to process and get these speeds? Or are we getting too nerded out? Okay, so I got some people saying yes. So let's do this. Brad, I'm going to switch over to you. If you could show us a little bit more of the inner workings and maybe a little overview of kind of BOXX Technologies, and then we'll get back into the CAM side of things for you guys as well on the computer. So go ahead and make you presenter. All right, we can see your screen.
Okay, good. All right, you can see the presentation started.
Yep.
So what I'll do is I'll just go through these slides. It gives an overview of what BOXX is. All this information is available on BOXX.com. However, I feel like in the slide form, it's a little easier to communicate with all of you, and you might get a different perspective of who we are. So this is mostly our business-to-business slide deck. However, you know, I think it is still good to go over, you know, this to all of you as an appropriate audience as well. So who we are, we're a family of businesses. The main one is what we call BOXX Classic, and that's the one that makes the workstation computers. And you can see our purpose, our vision, our strategy. Don't want to get too far into it, but I do want to highlight here, one of the nice things about BOXX is that it's made in the USA, and our support is based here in the USA. So you're always going to get somebody that speaks perfect English because they're natives to this country. And we also serve Canada as well, but the same idea. And also all of our salespeople are based right here. So this is one of the few companies, from my perspective, one of the few computer companies left that's completely based here in the United States. You know, because we do workstation, it's a higher segment, and therefore it wasn't as prone to, you know, the low cost and you know, commoditization of the consumer PC market.
Sure.
So as we were talking earlier, over 24 years we have been around, and this is our strategy as a company of how we address various markets. You know, we don't just target SolidWorks. You know, we target several areas such as media and entertainment, manufacturing, product design, as well as architecture, engineering, construction. SolidWorks tends to be probably more of the MPD play, but you know, these machines do a broad variety of different things for a variety of customers. And further to that, I'll get into that in future slides. So here's some of our customers, and it's a great collection of them. Again, they're all listed on our website. this is some of the who's who of the entire world, and we're very excited to be an elite player in this market. They know we build the best, they're the best, and that's why it's such a great fit for us. We do have a global presence of some sort. Mostly it is based in the United States and Canada, but we do serve somewhat of an international market. For the most part, they buy the systems and then they resell it and they support it in their local language. So it's true to the BOXX vision from a local perspective. And so as mentioned, here are a variety of the different areas that we do serve. Again, this probably would be MPD, right? You can see SolidWorks right there, which SolidCAM runs on, pardon me. But yeah, AEC, MPD, M&E, and broadcast. This is our bread and butter, and as you saw some of the customers, it applies to all 4 of these different verticals.
Yeah, and if I could just hop in real quick and interject you here. I mean, guys, basically what Brad is saying is over on the left-hand side, that the computer that was just being shown is perfectly built for SolidWorks, Autodesk Inventor. It's a one-stop shop for you guys, so you know that your computer is 100% supported for SolidWorks. It's 100% supported for Onshape. It's supported for all these CAD platforms that are up and coming, as well as the CAM. So these computers are custom tailored just for CAD CAM, which I find just phenomenal. So sorry to interrupt there, but.
Oh, not a problem. I do want to bring up another point as well. In order to use closed loop liquid cooling, what is required is to design the entire computer ahead of time. So a lot of the gamers and do-it-yourselfers, they use open loop liquid cooling. And what the advantage of that is that you can change the length of it to customize whatever it is that you decide to put together, right? A lot of them just kind of go ad hoc. They just kind of grab a chassis, grab their components, put them all together with a screwdriver and hope for the best, right? And that's fine. But open loop liquid cooling can lead to leaking, and that can be a serious concern, especially when you have expensive components nearby it. As you can see right there, we built our BOXX computer in SolidWorks to run SolidWorks. You understand the kind of the humor of that all. It's kind of like a 3D printer printing a 3D printer, right?
Yep.
And people do that, but that's exactly what we do. And because we do that all ahead of time and work every component out ahead of time in SolidWorks, we know exactly the correct length of every component, and therefore when we order the liquid cooling solution from Acetech, it is exactly the correct length to fit in our chassis. And right from the factory, it's sealed and always will be sealed. One other factor as well is that we actually put our motherboards in upside down, and we found that leads to any bubbles that form in the liquid cooling solution to form away from the CPU. And that's because of the fact that bubbles tend to rise to the top, right?
Sure.
So that's the most advantageous reason to, why we do what we do. Maybe it looks slightly awkward, but electronics doesn't care which way it's faced. And the chassis is all custom designed by us anyway, so we can accommodate all of the cards in our chassis for that orientation of the motherboard. We just upside down logos, it's well worth it for the technical advantages. Okay. So next slide. So this is an interesting one that I happen to like a lot. So you see the computer that you have, Kevin, on the left side. You see the max frequency at the 6 gigahertz, like we mentioned, right? And then you see SolidWorks on the left side. Well, on the right side, you can get some examples of different computers. They need a lot more cores than just the ones that the Core i9 supplies. Like Sapphire Rapids is the new processor from Intel that supports up to 56 cores. Suppose you're doing simulation or rendering, you'll want more cores. And so there's a right computer for the right job. Or you can go to some kind of blend in the middle. But the one that you have and the one that we're talking about today is specifically designed to run SolidWorks and the other 4 applications listed there.
Awesome. And what we're kind of looking at here too is, if I can dumb it down to my level here, is we see 6.0 gigahertz. Now, if you guys go out and try to find a Dell or a HP, you're not going to find that anywhere. And think about 6.0 gigahertz is your horsepower. Your most common machine out there, and Brad, feel free to step in, but is what, 3.8 to 4 gigahertz currently?
That seems to be probably on average where things are at. Sure.
So, I mean, when you guys are doing your saving calculates, if you guys got those large mold parts that we were viewing on my screen, or you guys are constantly going in and out of your machine simulation, the machine simulation is a, does eat up some CPU. So that transition from going into your calculation into your machine sim is almost, seconds, where before even doing our night classes on here, we were waiting, 30 to 45 seconds in there. And, you start adding those up during the day, that adds up to a lot of productivity too for you guys. So.
Yeah, someone did a study once, I was talking to a certain magazine, and they said they found about the average person has a hang on their computer that lasts, it adds up to about 45 minutes a day of hangs. And for how much money people get paid per day and per hour, you can quickly add up those hangs that go away with the latest computer when you're running SolidWorks. And it can pay for itself in as little as maybe 20 days or 40 days. You can just do it in the quick math about that also. From an industrial perspective, it really does make a lot of sense to go with the very best.
Sure. And one kind of thing, noticing too is here at SolidCAM, we were switching out computers, quite often, where we're hearing from our customers that have told us that they're using BOXX. They've been using BOXX for quite a few years now. They're going 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years without even having to touch it to do any upgrades before things start slowing down. So is there something that you guys do differently in that aspect that seems like the longevity of our speed stays the same?
It's a matter of whenever we sell a computer, it is the absolute best that you can buy for that purpose. And because it's so much ahead of the game to start with, that means that it's going to retain, that level of performance, and therefore last longer per se. And if you start cheaping on components from the beginning, of course, it's going to obsolete a lot faster. I've heard some say that you might have to buy our competitor computer maybe twice or even 3 times during the length of time that you'd have to buy the box once.
Sure.
And that's pretty profound. I mean, not just from the cost perspective of having to move everything over. I mean, isn't it more productive just to have the very best sitting right there and not have to touch it for the longest possible time? And that's what we offer.
Yep. So, I mean, the cost is just a little bit, I would say just a little bit higher than your off-the-shelf computers, but those off-the-shelf computers are only lasting 1.5 years, 2 years, where 6 years, like we're talking here. So the proof is in the pudding right there, definitely.
Yeah, it's a couple of different cliches, but I think what the best one I can think of is I can't afford to buy cheap products. And you get the joke of it all, right? Because in the long term, you end up paying more.
Yep.
All right. So next slide. So again, this is our 2 different workstations. You saw them in the last one. It's our 3 and the 4, and they offer different things. 4 has more room in it, but the 3 is our best seller, and tends to be more of the size that people are looking for. The 4 is also rackable, so you can see how it, because of the shape of it, it can fit well into a rack if that's what the customer wants.
Now, let's say, I'm going to pick on Victor here, and Victor doesn't know, he knows he needs a new computer, and he's just not sure on, should I go with the Apex 3, Apex 4? Do you guys have somewhere he could call and have someone walk him through on which components to get, which would be better for him and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a team of performance specialists, is what we call them. They are our sales staff, and I have contact information in this presentation I'll get to.
Awesome. Because I was in your guys' exact same shoes of, BOXX is a great computer, and you can get there, it's like, oh, which one should I get? Not sure, guys. Help. So.
All right. So here's a closer look at the Apex S3. I already touched on a lot of this, but it's neat how you can see this just opened up, right? And you can just see the parts that we talked about: the liquid cooling solution, the closed loop, liquid cooler towards the bottom there. You know, the radiator, which is part of that liquid cooling solution. And we also have a removable and maintainable, you know, grill in the front with an air filter. So, I mean, a lot of times the air is what will bring a computer down, just like your air conditioning at your house. You can replace the air filter and keep everything nice and clean. The chassis, everything's metal, so it's solid attack. And, you know, I don't know if I need to go over every single part of this. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory, but there's nothing in here that's anything but the very top end.
The best of the best. So when you guys are using SolidCAM, you're using the best of the best, and you're using BOXX computers, you're using the best of the best.
All right, next slide. So here's some of our rack mount systems. Now keep in mind that these are still workstations. They're just in a different form factor, right? So I just wanted to expose everybody to other areas besides the Apex line. So this is called the racks line. And so 2U and 3U. And then continue on. So this one's called FLEXX. So these are each a half U, because that's a 5U enclosure chassis, and then 10 can fit across it. So that's another approach. Certainly for data centers, and we have our own data centers service, and I'll get into it in future slides. But if you for whatever reason you wanted a bunch of workstations in a very dense environment, and these all still hold full-size video cards, FLEXX is the answer to that. So again, these are still workstations that just look different. I thought it's kind of neat when I first learned about this part.
So that's the supercomputer.
Well, they're still the same ones you'd buy in any other way. It's just a matter of how you want it to have it.
Sure.
So we have 1V and 2VU. So these are like double wide and then the single wide. So just depending on what your needs call for. You can mix and match them in the 10 wide enclosure as well if you wanted to. So this is the cloud service that I was talking about. So as you can see there, you know, you took that Apex S3 that you all know about and you stick it in into the data center system. So there it is. You know, it's one of those systems there. And so you can look at the bottom, you see the various logos. So you can see, you know, the system SolidWorks, and then you can see, you know, Revit and AutoCAD logos. So you could have different computers that are specialized for different purposes. So BOXX Cloud is a service. You pay a monthly fee. Instead of buying a workstation up front, you rent it. But it's still 100% yours. There's no virtualization. So the latency is as low as it can possibly be. And that's very important for workstations, right? Because you're already over the internet. So you want it to be, you know, dedicated to you. And nobody's touching it while you're renting it other than yourself. It's sitting there waiting for your usage.
That's impressive. So you can just rent a data server then and use that as your server?
You're renting a workstation that you access over the cloud.
Okay.
So yeah, BOXX doesn't make anything except workstation. They just look differently. But yeah, you can call it a server if you want, but the guts are all workstation guts.
Okay. So you could actually have, if you wanted to, you could have a lower grade computer that's remoted into the system and then still have the performance?
Well, I mean, you could even use a tablet if you wanted to. It doesn't matter what you're you know, connecting with, because you're just viewing the pixels, right?
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yep. Makes sense in my brain.
Okay, great. So this is just going over it. So HP Anywhere. So that's what they supply on part 3 there as well. That's what allows, like it says, anywhere. It means that you can view it securely on any device, including a tablet or even a phone if you wanted. But it just really depends on what the customer wants. You can see in the center picture there the mix and match of the double wides and the single wides for a total of 10, whatever you wanted there.
Very cool.
And we just want to make it clear that, you know, NVIDIA RTX, the real actual video cards, is what powers the BOXX Cloud. So, you know, you get full strength, even though it's remotely accessed.
Now, we do have a question since we're on kind of video cards right now.
Okay.
We got, how does the AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3D compared to the Intel equivalents in terms of CAD capability and cycles per dollar?
So we have found that the 13th generation Core i9 is the absolute best performing processor for CAD right now. We don't like to pick sides, you know, AMD versus Intel, but that just happens to be the one that just performs the absolute best. And you know, out in Nashville, where I talked to you, Kevin,
Yep.
There was a presentation out there about benchmarks, and that's just what they found. They just found it was far and away the best for SolidWorks, and they had the numbers to prove it. So that's where we're at right now.
Excellent. So hopefully that answers your question there, Salamat.
All right. And as promised, here's the contact box slide. So we hope you use this. And we'd certainly appreciate and love the chance to win up your business if you decide to contact us.
Yeah, and one thing to everyone that's listening here, you know, Brad, could we give our KevCam audience a little bit of a discount if they call in and talk to, you know, the salesperson or anybody, and if they mention KevCam or something like that?
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I didn't think about that. I can certainly raise this up. You know, I don't have the authority to just, you know, declare one right now, but you know, I'll see what I report right to the vice president of sales and marketing, so I'll see what if he's willing to do anything on that front.
Excellent. So, in more sense, we want to take care of you guys as customers. So we got this really awesome computer now, and let's get you a little bit of a discount and get you guys rocking with it. Now, one thing I really want to share is, let me get back to my screen here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brad, did you have any other slides? I forgot to ask.
Oh, not at all. This is the final slide.
Okay. All right, let's switch back over to here. All right. So, like we were talking about the calculations and times and all that stuff, you know, like I said, you know, if you're running, you know, your basic 2.5D, you know, pocket profile, stuff like that, the calculations are so fast already, you're not going to notice the time difference. But soon as we start getting into any of the 3D features of the CAM, not saying that SolidCAM 3D features is very invasive of your computer, but now with a much faster computer that we're pushing, SolidCAM is putting this BOXX computer through its paces in every way. Now all these 3D operations are instant now calculations, where we were waiting, you know, 5 to 10 minutes, and on this particular part we're waiting 12 minutes versus 2 minutes. In my mind, that's huge, and like I said, I will gladly send this part to anybody else, and I'll, if we want, we can do a stopwatch video too, so we can just prove to you guys that it really was 2 minutes. But just this part alone, like I said, definitely crunches away, and you know, we're utilizing all of our processors, you know, before, so utilizing the full computer capabilities, where, you know, if we talk about other CAM software out there, SolidCAM is the only one that can utilize multi-core threading, where all the other ones out there are only using single core threading. So only one of these cores would be pinging to the max there. So one other thing I did want to bring up for you guys is, get to the right page. So when you guys call in and ask, you know, for recommended workstations, you know, we always thought we knew what we were going about with the higher end computers and for you guys, but you know, for this extreme computer right here, we always recommended for our 5-axis and our constant 3D surfacing that are using the software in that sense of getting the computer in this extreme area. Now, Brad, can you tell us? So we're saying extreme here, but where are we actually at with this current computer?
Well, the current one actually goes above Intel's spec. We're actually clocking at 6 gigahertz, where it maxes out at 5.8. So let's just call it like extra extreme. It would be an accurate thing for us on this one.
And then with the NVIDIA card?
Yeah, I mean, NVIDIA no longer uses this terminology, but you know, yeah, we have cards that went beyond that one.
Okay, so I guess what we're getting at here is, the extreme version here, of what you're getting here, the BOXX computer is way above that. So, if you guys are doing that 3D surfacing, definitely come check out the BOXX and see what they got for you guys. And, coming to a computer company that specializes in specific CAD CAM technology here is just blows my mind. So, but now with that being said, for those of you guys that are new, I did forget to do a little bit of an introductory here, but these night classes are being recorded, so any classes that you guys need to want a previous watch or come back through and look, come here, check it out on YouTube. Right here, of all our classes are being recorded. So, but biggest thing I wanted before we end this here is, do we have any good technical questions for the computer guy, the expert, Mr. Brad, or any questions on BOXX themselves or the computer? I don't see anybody writing yet. Oh, so the question is laptop versus a desktop.
Yeah, I mean, desktops will always perform better than laptops. It's just inevitable. There's more space in there for cooling, higher frequencies and whatnot. There has been a statement before, and I think it's a bit misinterpreted, that a laptop performs as well as a desktop. It's not true exactly if you compare the latest to the latest, but if you mean maybe a laptop today is comparable to, say, a desktop from a few years ago, that would be accurate. So, they certainly do, in certain cases, have grown by leaps and bounds in their performances. We certainly do sell some laptops ourselves at BOXX as well, but it is our desktops that are the highest performance, that's for sure.
So the desktops are going to be your desktop rockets. So if you guys are looking for portability, the laptop, but if you're doing these calculations, working at your desk, definitely go with that desktop tower. Absolutely. All right, I don't see any other questions coming through. For anybody that does have questions but don't want to ask right now, everybody should have my email address at kevin.rankle@solidcam.com. And what we'll do here is I'm going to send all of you guys that is live right here, as well as the people viewing this on YouTube later on. I'll put Brad's contact information, as well as Aaron's contact information, or I'll get you the correct contact information if you guys are looking for more information for BOXX, and go that route for you guys. So, Brad, anything else you want to add before we end it off here?
No, I really appreciate you having me on, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. And guys, and one thing to kind of note too here is, we've had this computer for a while now, and we have not been gentle to it. We've kind of thrown every nasty part that we can find at it, and like I've been saying all along, it's just chewing through it like no tomorrow. So we did have one more here. Does video card affect calculation speeds? Brad, with the NVIDIA, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say in this case, no. As long as it's a certain minimum video card to at least enable the configuration, it really would not have an effect on it, unless you're running an actual video card benchmark specifically designed for that. They do exist, but not in this case. That's not what we're running today, or what you're running, Kevin.
Okay. Does that help answer your question there, Victor? Yep, perfect. Excellent. So guys, and like I said, my email address will be down in the chat, or the YouTube description down below for you guys. So please, if you guys have any questions, definitely reach out to me. Send those over to me via email, or give us a call on the support line, and that is 866-975-1115 extension 2. And that will ring to all of our support guys. But if you guys do have questions with the computer or anything with BOXX, or as well as anything inside the software, you know who to get a hold of. But Brad, I want to thank you so much for joining us and giving us the inner workings of BOXX technologies.
Of course. Thank you much.
All right, guys. Well, we'll end it off there, and we are going to take. We do have East Tech coming up next week, so we won't be having a class that week, and we will be getting these night classes fired back up again as soon as we get back from East Tech. So look forward to those GoToMeeting reminders coming your way. All right, everyone. Have yourself a great one rest of your night, and we will talk to you guys in 3 weeks for our next class. Thanks, everyone.